asking ourselves, what is the role of government in the vertical system? We all know the role of government in our horizontal system. There are small variations here and there. We have some communist states where the government perhaps does a lot more than a government in a capitalist state. But otherwise, in the horizontal system, government generally decides, legislates, executes, and deals with the conflicts. Now, that is not going to be the same in the vertical system. The vertical system, the government is mainly regulatory. Mainly regulatory, and to do the very, very few things that is almost impossible for individuals, whether in partnership or alone, are able to do. Regulation demands that the government must be a neutral umpire. The government must stand above and not compete with the people in any way. What it means is that government must be completely out of business. Government must be completely out of commerce. The government must be completely out of manufacturing. The government must be completely out of transport. Now, that is very, very important in a vertical system. The government cannot for example, own properties in the vertical system. Unlike in a horizontal system, where we have the government owning forests, the government owning rivers, the government owning parts of the oceans, the government owning buildings, owning wildlife, owning land. We are saying in the vertical system, the government would not own these things. The government's role would be purely regulatory. We are saying the totality of land in a state will, at a given time, be shared equally between the citizens of that country. What does that mean? That is very, very important, because it means that in that country, the role of the government will be very, very crucial to ensure that land is used for the purpose for which it is allocated. If, for example, we have talked about forest land, we have talked about forest land being given out to individuals, but it must be used as a forest, not converted to something different, except when it's absolutely necessary and the government being an independent umpire has determined that yes, it is necessary to change the user of this land. If land is allocated as a road, it will be the role of the government to ensure that that land is used as a road. If it is allocated as a school, it will be the role of the government to ensure that that land is being used for no other purpose but for the purpose of a school. It may be used for other purpose, but not purpose that contradicts its primary objective, which is it is allocated as a school. That is very, very crucial in the verticalist system. Now, we have said when there is a total transition, for example, to freedom, if this were to happen all over the world, then there would be no need, there would be no country that would see the need for an army, a standing army, because a vertical state would not want to fight another vertical state, because vertical simply means progression is vertical. There is no horizontal progression. There is no invading of another country in order to acquire territory from another country. Because horizontal system, it is necessary to acquire territory all the time. That's the meaning of the horizontal system. That from time immemorial, there has been acquisition of territory against individuals, against other communities, against other societies, against other countries, against other nations. Now, if humanity were to say, now look here, there is no horizontal expansion, there is unlimited growth vertically. The sky is not the limit. Beyond the sky, one can still grow. And if the entire humanity were to agree that we grow vertically, meaning an individual can grow without limit, even that one who has refused to grow, the day he'll wake up and decide to grow, there will be nothing preventing him from growing. That's what we are saying by the vertical system. If the whole humanity were to say that we want the vertical system in place, what would people be fighting for? What would people be quarreling over? There would be no energy wasted in fights. There would be no energy wasted in quarrels, in wrangles. There will be no energy wasted in that direction. Because people know that there is limitless space to grow. By the way, it is scientific that space is unlimited. But now if you are competing over land, you are competing over something that is limited. If you are fighting over land, you are fighting over something that is limited. Yet space is unlimited. The vertical system is a natural system. It is a system that is scientific. It's a system based on scientific reality. It's a system that is based on the truth. The truth that says that space is unlimited and therefore everyone can grow in an unlimited manner. Therefore, if the entire body of humanity were to decide we are vertical, there will be no need for war. War would be completely obsolete. only sick people would be fighting. Only sick people would be quarreling over anything. Because each one of us is doing what they love doing. And therefore, so what we are saying is that the role of the state will continue diminishing as verticalism expands. As verticalism spreads, the role of the state would be reducing. We have just seen that if the entire body of humanity were to declare that they are vertical, there will be no war. Therefore, that role of the state of defending its citizens will not be there, because the citizens of a state would need no defense against external enemies, because there will be no external enemies. But in the short term, in the mid-term, it may be necessary. That role of the state may still be necessary, because we are not forcing anybody to move away from the horizontal. People have to see, people have to be educated. And as we have already seen, education cannot be imparted. People can only be inspired. Therefore, until the entire body of humanity is inspired, until the entire body of humanity is inspired to go vertical, there may be still need for the role of the state as the defender of its citizens against any external aggression. Now, so other than regulating land use, other than regulating the flow of information, for example, ensuring visibility is protected, other than at some point ensuring that the banks perform their role and that service to humanity is properly regulated, which is a very important function of the state, to ensure that everyone has an opportunity to render service to humanity in exchange for schooling. Those are the roles of the state. Another role of the state would be to deal with offenders. We have already seen that in a properly functioning vertical state, we have already seen that crime will be a thing of the past. We have already seen that in a properly functioning vertical state, corruption will be a thing of the past. So, the few sick people that would offend, those are the few people that the state can deal with, ensure that they receive treatment, because the causes of poverty, the major causes of poverty we have identified is the land market and the labor market. But those two markets have been eliminated, meaning that the major causes of poverty have been eliminated. And once the major causes of poverty have been eliminated, crime will reduce the minimum. As we have said, crime will only be committed, and it will not be called crime, because it will be a sickness. It will be something arising out of sickness, not out of necessity. Today, people commit crimes because out of necessity, because they're poor, because they're starving, because they're hungry, because they have nothing to wear. That's why they commit crimes. But we are saying in a properly functioning vertical system where we have eliminated the major sources of poverty, that is the land market and the labor market have been eliminated. And we have also eliminated the premium on schooling. People are relating in cooperation and partnership.